Hello, hello, hello. Let's put the overlay up here. Happy Saturday. Whew, y'all, I'm a little bit nervous about today's session, but I'm super excited to bring it to you regardless. I've got our chat overlay over here. So as you're coming in, give me a hi, give me a hello. Let me know where you're joining me from. I think if you're on YouTube, you can only comment if you're a subscriber. So all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and then you'll be allowed to comment. I actually just realized that I think it was this past week, I was like, well, maybe I have some sort of setting on the comments thing where people are not able to comment. So that's part of it. And I know there's a little bit of a delay. What's going on, Brittany? Glad to have you here. Just Be Curly is here as well. Welcome. What's going on, LB? Happy Seduce Him Saturday. Once again, if this is your first time joining me, give me your name. Tell me where you are joining me from. Really excited about today's session. And I know I have all of my plug in things all connected. So we should be all good to go. And I got a lot to share with you guys today. So I've talked about what's going on, Linda. I've talked about before my personal story of like how I made it to six figures. And I think in the past, I've shared it from just like the financial standpoint, but I don't know that I've actually shared everything as far as like, what was I doing on a daily basis? What was I journaling? I have all my notebooks right here. What were some things that I started doing from a practical standpoint and all of those things? So anytime anyone claims a number, I always feel like the onus is on them as well to show the proof. So I'll be showing that in a second. Let me go ahead and read my intro so that I can make a clean edit and a clean cut when it is time to do that. Here we go. Let's see who else is here. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Let me minimize. Okay, good. All right, cool. I feel like there's also a delay because it literally went from like 4 people to 22 all of a sudden. So if this is your first time joining me, say hello. Let me know where you are joining me from. What's going on? Happy Saturday. Sally is here. Hello, Curated Rebel. Glad to see you here. Okay, cool. So if you've never met me before, my name is LaTisha Styles. I'm a mentor for high achievers. I'm known for creating 6 and 7 figure earners by helping clients identify and dissolve the subconscious blocks that are preventing them from unlocking their full potential. My clients are known for using my strategies to generate 18K in 2 weeks, 10K in 10 days, and 95K in 12 months, among other results. And that is why you are here today, right? To get on the path to getting some of those results for yourself. I broadcast every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I pack a lot of value in these trainings. And as with all things valuable, there is a price. So if you join me live, you get to soak up all this goodness for free. Afterwards, the training will go inside of the YouTube member area, and it's available for channel members. In order to become one, all you have to do is click join. There's a link in the description, and I recommend doing that from a desktop. If you want notifications when I go live, subscribe and click the bell. And if you've made a purchase already, then you are on my text list and you will get a text when I'm live. You also get access to secret flash sales and special offers, which we just did one this week. It does pay to be a buyer. If you are outside of the US, go to latisha.tv/free. Download any of my free trainings, PDFs, or guides, and you are in there like swimwear. I believe you can create your life, but first you have to decide, because your dreams deserve your decision and you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. So with that said, let's hop into today's topic. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing the true 100K story. Let me just kind of go back to the chat really quick, make sure I did not miss anyone. What's going on, Janice? Thank you for joining from the UK. Glad to see you here again. Vanessa is here. Nikisha is here as well. What's going on, Profit Creator? Glad to have you here. Justin is joining from Atlanta. And Janice says she's been watching Brittany each morning, and we're both great. Awesome. We actually just hung out this past week, and she's just as cool in person as she is online. So really, really excited. Okay. First thing, income claim proof. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Today, I'm going to be sharing full story of how I first made it to six figures in my business. So if you are like, I still want to make $100,000 in a year, and you're like, I just still don't know what that path is, what that process is, I'm going to be sharing the entire story with you. So before we get started, let's go ahead and get the proof statement out of the way. Okay, this is my QuickBooks. I pulled it up. I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh also so you can see that this is live. Okay, so this is my company is Financial Success Media. This has already been submitted for tax purposes. I don't know if I can like zoom in, make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, it's not going to fully zoom in, but you can see here, gross profit was 100,000. Expenses were around 76,000. Net operating income around 24,000 for 2019. So this was the very first year that I generated $100,000 in a year. And as you can see, I like barely made it by like $800. And just to kind of walk this through just a little bit, some of these things I feel are misclassified. Like, obviously, I didn't charge $47 for a one-on-one coaching done for you thing, but my accountant handled all of this. So somehow that ended up there. I don't click and change things because it could change how he has stuff in here. I generated about $1,000 a month from affiliate income. So that's kind of like that passive, products that I was recommending to people. The majority of my income came from group coaching and courses. And then he had this like sales of product income. I did not have a physical product. So this is also group coaching and courses. I did do some services. So this is like brand deals slash working with like I did some agency style stuff. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that. And then obviously we have some refunds that were processed through Stripe. I spent about $15,000 in advertising. We got affiliate payments, accounting, $1,600 on courses and training, team member about $8,000. And then you got your business expenses like your hosting, your registration, interest expense. I had and do have a business credit card. So I carried a balance, and that's the interest expense there. Some stuff that's classified as marketing, merchant fees, retreat expenses, killer, 22,000 to host the retreat, and then some all other miscellaneous things. You'll notice that I do not, there's no salary here. And that's because at this point I was not classified as an S Corp for tax purposes. So this 24,000 is basically my take home pay for the year, like what I personally receive, which is around $2,000 a month, which is why I say six figures is like the bare minimum, because that's like really not that much, right? All right. So now that we have that part out of the way, you kind of get an idea of like what it looks like from an accounting perspective. And I want to walk you through a couple of things today, and feel free to ask any questions that you might have. I'm going to try to focus on the topic as much as possible because I have a lot to share, and a lot. And I want to make sure I don't trip myself up in terms of the sequence and the order of everything. So the first thing that I want to walk through is generally the question that people always have, which is like the practical, like, what did you sell? How much did everything cost? What emails did you send? Like those things. And so I went back and grabbed this notebook, which conveniently says, if you can dream it, you can do it. And this one was about 2019 to 2020. And in it, it's literally just like a to-do list. So it's like, write down what you need to do, vlog ideas, things that need to happen. And then as I did them, I crossed them off. Towards the end, I changed things up a little bit. And so I'll be talking a little bit about that. So that's item one. Then I have my investment, I guess kind of like investment notebook. So you know how like when you purchase a new course or like you invest in a program, you typically get a notebook to go along with it. So this was that notebook for that year, for 2019. Life is a journey, not a destination. And so inside of here is kind of like notes that I was writing as I was investing in programs. And so I'm going to talk about that. I also pulled up all of the course purchases. Like I took some time at one point to determine like how much I've actually invested in like the business, in myself, in my personal development. And I had actually already put that on a spreadsheet. So I went ahead and pulled that up. So I'll be pulling that up to kind of talk a little bit more about some of the investments. I'm not going to list out who the people were, what the courses were, things like that. So just FYI, in case you're wondering, I'm just going to have up there the prices and the dates. And I'll kind of talk in general about like the types of things I was investing in, which is going to be inside of here. All right. So that's item number 2. And then the third thing that I have that I'll be sharing today is my journal, which is normally up there because this pink pops in my studio. And this one says, be happy, be bright, be you. And it's actually not fully completed. There's a lot of, you can see a lot of blank pages here in the back. But this one was more so of a journal where I was writing my thoughts. And so what I do with my journals is I generally don't put dates in my journal, especially if I'm working on like bringing something to life, manifesting. And the reason is the only moment is right now. Like you're literally only in this present moment. And also your subconscious mind doesn't understand yesterday, today, tomorrow. All it knows is heartbeat, take a breath, walk, talk, like those things. And so it's your conscious mind is the one that understands there's a tomorrow and like linear time and all those things. But your subconscious mind is what actually handles all the manifestation. So generally speaking, when I write in my journal, I don't write dates and I just write in present tense. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So that's this one. That's the third thing that I'll be covering. Okay. So practical, a little bit less practical, but like investments, and then least practical, but the thing that I feel actually made the biggest difference, which is the change in the mindset and the internal. So that's our journey today. Who's excited? Yay. Okay, great. Will this be available to watch later? I hope you haven't stepped out. So let me go ahead and answer your question. The replay for this will be available. I usually leave it up for a couple of hours because I do have friends overseas who, for them, this is like, well, maybe midnight or 3 a.m, whatever. And then after that, it does go into the YouTube member vault. If you'd like to become a channel member, it's $2.99, and you'll get like a back catalog of like 2 years plus of content that you can go through, all on really, really great topics. Okay. All right, let's get started. So the first thing that I want to share is what are some things that I did from a practical standpoint that I feel helped me reach 6 figures in a year. And this was one of them. So let me share my screen. Okay. This is a spreadsheet that I started doing. This is my 2019 income tracking. And what I did, even though I have and had an accountant, I started going through and literally like every single thing that I was spending money on, I started tracking. So I was like, okay, this is how much I'm spending on advertising. And you can see like my ad, it's like so cute, $600 for ads. But it's like, this is how much I'm spending on advertising. This is how much I'm spending on travel and entertainment. This is how much I'm spending on marketing related expenses. This is for my LLC expenses. And I would put that out. And you can see, like I said, I was carrying a balance. So this is all the credit card interest I was paying. This is what I spent on continuing education. And then these are, this is revenues that came in. So like brand consulting. So this was like some brand deals that I was doing, one-on-one coaching / retreat. So that revenue that was coming in, all of my affiliate income, and then all of the group coaching and courses and things that I was doing from Stripe, PayPal, Stripe. This was one huge practical thing. If I can give you like one of all the practical, right? That's level 1. We're going to keep going deeper. But if I can give you one of like all the practical things, is start tracking. If you want to reach a specific number, and if that number is 6 figures, then you have to be willing to look at where you are right now and what's happening. It's like a GPS. You it's going to ask you only two things. Where are you right now and where do you want to go, right? So that's the idea behind a system like this. Even if it's just a simple spreadsheet, is like every single month I was looking at how much did I make? How much did I spend? And what I was learning, if we take it to a little bit of a deeper level, what I was learning was to stop being so attached in an emotional standpoint to the numbers. And I was learning to become more business minded, as in, like, there's no emotion. That's the number. I don't like that number. I want that number to be higher. Okay, great. What actions did I take this month? What actions can I take next month? And one thing that I did learn throughout this process was, like, I'm tired of starting the month at zero, which is why I started putting some more leveraged and like passive style income in place, which I'll talk about just a little bit later. I did create this myself. It's not a template. I literally just said month, like each column. I did a month, and then I did a row for revenue. I did a row for expenses, and I subtracted them both. Okay. This is from the 2018 sheet, and I actually had started it in 2018. And then I just listed everything out, and then I grouped them together. And then I kept doing that month to month. Once you do it once, it's not difficult. The other thing I did was I started paying attention to my tech stack. So let me just, I do want to make sure I don't have anything on here that I don't want shown. Okay. I started tracking my tech stack. So I was like, okay, what are all the things that I'm paying for? So, like, I just started paying attention. Like, what you pay attention to is what you're going to be able to actually work on, manage from an energetic standpoint and a practical standpoint, right? If you have no idea, like, you just don't know. So start tracking, start putting down, like, put it in a spreadsheet. I like spreadsheets because they're easy to come back to. You can look at them, look them up or whatever. Okay. All right. So that was first thing from a practical standpoint. Next thing from a practical standpoint is I started paying it. Sorry. Where did the money come from in 2019? Now, this is actually not all of the money, because I did the actually, like, summed all of this up, and it's only 30. Oh, my face is in the way. If I move this, you can see it's only like 36,000. So honestly, I don't know what I did here, but basically I got on the phone with someone who I wanted to become my part of my legal team, like help me with legal stuff. And she was like, she gave me homework. She said, go through everything that you're selling right now and look at what's actually bringing you revenue. What do you enjoy and what do you not want to do? So I don't know when maybe I did this at some point during the year and, like, the year wasn't finished yet or whatever. I really don't know, to be honest. But basically what I realized was, like, okay, I really enjoy the retreat, which, yeah, this had to be middle of the year. I definitely didn't make only 7,200 from the retreat. I had one-on-one, but I didn't necessarily want to do that fully because it was a lot of time. And then I had a couple courses, and then a couple coaching programs. And so I decided to, like, combine a lot of stuff, get rid of a lot of stuff, and basically just streamline down. And that was, I would say, probably the second practical thing that I did in 2019 that helped me reach six figures is I really started focusing on basically three core offers. So let's sell the retreat, let's sell create and fill your coaching program, let's sell package and profit. And that was my goal. Okay. The numbers do tell a story. Absolutely. Okay. Third thing that I did is I stopped investing so much. Okay. So I feel like I have to preface this for a second, especially as someone who does, like, sell courses and programs or whatever. There is a point where you turn into an information gatherer rather than an information action taker. And I started getting to that point. So so that's my caveat. Okay. So we're good now. In 2018, I spent, you can see just from the individual, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 different programs at varying prices, individual courses. These two are zero because they actually were a bonus that came along with this program, but I put them in there anyways. I just wanted to have a record of like, what are all the courses that I have? And also like, you notice that I did a lot of investing in 2018, which I think was necessary, but I came to a realization like, all right, Tish, like it's time to put some of this stuff in action. And so if you'll notice in 2019, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was like 6 strategic purchases. And why do I say strategic? You can see from the price points that they weren't like huge mentor based investment, group coaching based investments. Like 2019 was the year of me just like hunkering down and just doing the work. Like literally just do the freaking work. That was 2019 for me. And then as you can see in 2020, I picked back up because I was ready to, kind of take things to the next level. And so 2020, I ended up spending like 22,000. My head's in the way. So here's the number down here, around 22,000 versus in 2019, I spent like $1,100 total. Okay. So from a practical standpoint, my belief in myself started to grow. Okay. So let's go to, so that's that. Let me go to exhibit A for step 1, which is the practical of what I did. I basically went from writing what essentially was just a to-do list. Like every day I would be like, all right, here's what I need to do. I need to finish this webinar. I need to upload these videos. I need to, create these quotes. And I went from doing a to-do list of like, these are all the things I need to do. And I moved into what's like I would call like what 3 things do I need to do today to make this day a win? And so if I go, let me see when I actually started doing that. Keep going. Sorry. Okay, August. So it was actually pretty deep into the month. This was the first day. This was the first time I did this. So August 21st, I was like, what are my goals? My goals were to earn 70K in 1 month from sales. I always had a goal that I would write down each day. Lose 7 pounds. This is when I decided to start going after getting on stage in 2020. That was in August. Keep that in mind because that's actually a really, really important part of this story. Yes, this was my full-time occupation. I was not working a 9 to 5 at this time. The last 9 to 5 that I worked was October 2000. No. In October 2015, I started my coaching business. And that was the last like official corporate America thing that I did. However, I did pick up a couple of like agency, like working with an agency on like contractor roles, and basically doing what I needed to do whenever I needed to do it. But there weren't any full-time gigs. Last year, I actually picked up a full-time role with an agency for like 3 months because I was actually considering quitting everything. And I was like, well, it's like, it was right around this time around August. And I was like, well, let me just, let's see how this goes. And I did it and I was there for 3 months and I was like, okay, LaTisha, now you realize like you're not cut out to be an employee like at all, regardless of what you think it might look like. It's just not for you. So I will say like official, like corporate America where I needed the money full-time job was back in 2015 after I had left that one job. But I have done other stuff since then. Okay. All right. So August 21st is when I started doing this, right? So what would make this day a win? I was like, all right, I need to practice. Sorry. I don't think I can show my face if I do this. Practice the webinar, finish the updates on YouTube. And then here's the things that I want to do this week. Update the pricing. Here's what I'm currently reading. And here's what I'm doing in terms of personal development, which is like learning Japanese. And then there was this course that I had purchased that I was like, go back through it. Basically, here's a book that I was reading. So this is essentially what I started doing then. And I literally like every single day. So there's the 22nd. Okay. Every single day I did that. 23rd, write my goal every single day. Okay. Write down what are my 3 things. And then on the back side is sometimes I would have notes from like, sometimes I would be like, okay, this day I need to, these are some things I need to do. So then I would write those on the back. That process honestly like allowed me to streamline so much that it helped me just to focus on like, what do I need to do today? And here's the action that I need to take today. This is what I need. This is what I need to do. Sorry, it's getting really hot in here. I'm just texting my husband to see if he can go change the air condition. I haven't felt the air come on like at all. I probably should have checked that first. Okay. So that's that. Practical. Okay. Practical is great. From a practical standpoint, I started tracking things. I started focusing in on what do I need to actually do to make this day a win. I started specifically doing those things, taking action, stop consuming, start creating, and start actually putting those things in place, like actually physically doing the work. All right, practical. What's underneath that? Okay. What's underneath that, this next book, is as I was going back through like a lot of the investments that I had made and things that I had worked on, I realized that there were like I kept buying the same type of program. And the type of program that I was buying was like, here's how to get your money mindset right. And so I was like, all right, so clearly this is something that I want to learn more about. Clearly, I still feel like I'm not getting it. So what do I need to do? And I decided to go back into those programs and really just like listen again. Once again, as you can see, I didn't make additional purchases. I went back to the stuff I had already bought. So I was like, all right, let me go back through this. Let me review it. Let me extract what I need to extract. Okay. So step 2, what I decided to do was I decided to start writing in my, start writing notes of the programs, right? From the position of like, what do I actually want and what do I want to create? Whew, okay. That feels good. So there was this program that I had bought and it was like, if anything was possible, right? How many hours of coaching would you want to do? Who would you want to work with? How would those clients show up? How do you want to deliver it? And I basically just started writing out what I desired and essentially like what I really wanted. And the reason that this is important is because I feel like it's something that continues to come up for me, which is I'm really good at setting a goal and then like running full force towards the goal. And what I've realized is that if I don't pause and stop to say, should I be running in this direction, period, then I can get all the way to a goal, accomplish it, and then be like, what did I create? What did I do? Why did I do this? Right. And so this was one of the very first times that I realized that. And so in this journal, which is one of my favorites because it's like also has a coloring book, one of the questions was like, how do you want to do this? How do you want to show up? Right. What would feel fun and awesome? And I was like, well, I want to do wrong side. I want to do in-person events and workshops, around 5 to 7 people where people can get to know each other. I want a workcation with my ideal clients in a beautiful location working on business. Guess what that sounds like? The Royal Retreat, right? And at this point, I had the retreat already, but I didn't realize how important it was for me to sell the retreat, how important for me to feel fulfilled as a business owner, I had to specifically make sure that that was one of the things that I was doing, which I'm really excited. I'm going to be opening the doors to that in another couple months. So, let's see. And I started writing out with, what do I desire? I'm trying to look for another good, here it is. What would my dream business look like? I live where I want to, I live where I would want to vacation. I want to be in 70-degree weather year round, which I still want that. Speaking engagements 2 to 4 times a year at large events, smaller workshops and retreats, location-based intensives, no sales calls. So notice that even in 2019, I was saying that. Close group of clients, getting results and kicking butt. Who is my ideal client? So once again, I just started to go back through the basics. Like for those of you guys who are already in the path to 6 figures, which is the whole reason that I had created that program, was to detail this process. You understand that there's literally only you need to know your ideal client. You need to know what you want to offer. You need to know how you want to show up. You need to have your systems in place. You need to be clear on your messaging. And that's really it. Once you have those things, those core pieces, it's just a matter of taking the steps and doing the work. And so that's what this book right here, this notebook, is all about. If I were truly being myself, what would I say? How would I show up? I would be playful and energetic. This is the energy I love the most. Laughter unites us all. I would help my tribe get confident, get okay with failing fast. That means I need to share my failures. So notice that as I'm writing this out and getting clarity for me, I'm also getting clarity in what my blueprint is, what I need to do in order to get to 6 figures, right? I would help my tribe focus, but at the same time, learn how to integrate distractions. The only way I can stay focused is by becoming okay with distractions. Also, fully running with an idea when I get it, but give myself a 24-hour think it through. Does it align with my ultimate goals? Notice that's what I just said, right? And then I made a list of locations I want to workation. What else? So anyways, that's what this process was for me. It wasn't necessarily a going inside journaling for the purpose of journaling, but it was more so of a vision board. So this journal was a visioning of what's possible. What do I want to do? What do I want to create? What would that look like? How would I show up? And basically going back through those programs that I had invested in. And I was essentially just coaching myself through those programs. Now, once again, like I said, I do sell courses and coaching and programs and things like that. So obviously I'm an advocate for it. I do it myself. But once again, at some point, you literally just have to do the work. At some point, you realize that you've bought all the courses that you really need to buy for right now. And you just need to go and do the work. If you have a program that teaches you how to get clear on your ideal client, how to get clear on your messaging, how to set up your systems and all those things, you're probably good for right now. Just do it, right? If you don't have that, path 6 figures. But that's really it, right? Once you have that, then you can start making some more strategic investments as far as all right, now I want to learn, different traffic strategies like Facebook ads, things like that. Or now I want to learn, how to organically do TikTok. But really until you have those base things in place, you can show up on TikTok every day if you want, but if you don't know what your messaging is, you're literally just going to be saying random stuff and people are not going to know why you're there. Then you're going to get frustrated because you're not really speaking your truth and your core message. And people are not, they're not going to have any idea what you're doing there and why you're there. And you're oh, I feel like I have to do this. And it's you need a focus, a clear focus. Okay. Okay. Let me come to the comments. Really quickly. Okay. Yes. Execution is key. Okay, good. I see that there's some self-realization that's happening, which is okay. It's very understandable. All right. Juan says, I did a 6-month audit for my expenses for August to December, found courses I paid for last year and forgot about. We do it all the time. Yep. Have a few courses I haven't used yet. Yes. Okay. I answered this question. I actually once had a really cool job watching a little boy with autism while I was, running my business full time. And it was like 2 hours, I think. And it helped me just kind of like take my mind off of the stress of like trying to get the business going and off the ground. Oh yeah, hunting down the websites to figure out like where your logins are. Okay, good. All right, I'm just coming through all of this. Hey, Daquan. Tasha says, I like that specific goal setting action steps each day and tracking for accountability. And what's really cool about it is that now I can go back to these books and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what I was working on at that point. Yes, please come back and watch the replay. Okay, good. Excuse me. While I'm doing this, might as well just have some water. What's going on, Meredith? Is the writing / journaling way something you've done or just started with the business goals? No, that literally started in 2019, where I wrote at the top, I would write my goals. Then I would write what would make this day a win. And I would give myself literally like keep it to like 3 things. And then underneath that, I would write like, what's a personal development thing that I'm doing? And then maybe a course that I'm going back through. And I still do that. So I have my notebook. It's not here right now, but I still do that each day. And it was actually how I structured the, so this is my manifestation goal planner that you can purchase. And you'll notice in this daily planner, it's like, what would make this day a win? And then there's like a little to-do list, but it's like, let's just write down the most important things. And then I also have the money manifestation pages, which later on I ended up adding this net worth and then money flow. And then I started doing an affirmation of the day, et cetera, et cetera. So I can talk about that on another one. That was like getting to $250,000 and then like multiple 6 figures. Okay, good. Yes, please join us in the path to 6 figures. I think I have like a little text thing here. Maybe I don't. All right. Okay. The third and final thing, which is going deeper, right, into deeper layers. It's kind of like when you go get a massage. I don't know if you've ever gotten a deep tissue massage. The first thing that happens is you kind of get like that superficial rubbing, right, against the muscle. And then they start like doing a little bit rougher because they're trying to get to like the deeper layers. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. You're getting a deep tissue massage into your subconscious so you can reach your 6-figure goal. So we first talked about like the practical of I started tracking. I started, paying attention to what was going out, what was coming in. I looked at what I was actually selling. What did I enjoy selling, right? What products and services I had. Then the next level is I got out of information gathering mode and went into implementation mode. And I had a notebook that was specifically around like, what do I want to create? What do I want to do? What do I desire? And just really, really getting clear about that. Okay. Now the third and deeper layer, which once again, I had to do a little bit of digging to sort of figure out what year this was. And I have several journals. And like I said, when I write in my journals, I don't put dates. However, inside of this journal, I wrote a specific course that I was like actually going through at the moment. So it helped me, like I had the name of it. I was like, during such and such program, I was asked, and I was like, okay, well that I actually purchased in 2018. So that means that this journal in general, I was writing in 2018. So this is the year before I reached 6 figures. Okay. Now the reason that this is important is because today, this moment, you are laying your foundation for what is to come. Okay. Every single thing that you do, the thoughts that you start working through, implanting, like your mindset, all those things, everything that you're doing right now is laying the foundation for whatever your next level is, whatever your next step is. Okay. So it's important to make sure that we realize this is 2018. In 2018, I was so like, I was very energetically drained. I'm even like reading through these right now, and it was just very, very heavy. I signed up for a pottery class because I just felt like I needed something where I was just working with my hands that I didn't have to stress about like trying like I just felt like I was trying so hard to like make things work and like forcing things and like following so many people, as you can see from all these course purchases. I was like I had so many different voices, and I ended up signing up for a ceramics class, which was really, really cool. Funny thing is, I made all of these like bowls and things and all that. And after they fired them, right? They put them in the oven. It's called firing. After they fired them, the lady contacted me and she was like, "Hey, we have all of your, pottery here if you want to come and paint it." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll come get it." I never picked it up. And so what that tells me on an energetic level is that there was a lot of stress that I needed to put into that, pottery and those clay pieces. And once I was done, I was done. But that's essentially what happened in 2018. So here I was writing, um, where I was reprogramming my mind, right? So I'm reading now. In my lucid state, I began to reprogram my mind. I started to think about the now of 70K months. I visualized it being the end of the month and how I would portion it out. I thought about the feeling I have, the feeling of relief, of peace, and I fell back asleep. I can't get to where I want to be if I allow fear to continue to grip me. That dims my light. I will continue to take care of my obligations. The balances are decreasing month by month. They're diminishing. I have everything I need in this moment. I am safe. I am loved. I am cared for. Like, how heavy is that? It's like there's so much stress and like struggle that I can feel just from reading this. And I think it's possibly why the rest of this book, like all of this, is empty. Okay. I think that's the reason why. Because once I got to the end of this, which I'll talk about in just a second, it was kind of like, even though this book was pretty big, I was just like done. And I was done with that energy. I was done with feeling like I was always behind or that I was always trying to like get somewhere or forcing something. I just wanted to just release it all. And like, I stopped stressing about getting to six figures. Okay. Now I feel like this is important. When I started my business in 2015, it was October 2015. So that year, I think I made like $30,000 or something like that last couple of months of the year. And that was from freelancing, like some affiliate stuff. I had booked a client I was doing their social media and content. It was like one of my first clients. And then in 2016, I started seeing everybody, like literally everybody, who was like, "I made six figures and you can too." And so I was like, okay, yeah, I can make six figures. I can do this. Like I was always an A student. Like I got this, right? And so I'm like, 2016 is going to be my six-figure year. And then it wasn't. I made 65,000, but I was like, okay, well, whatever, at least I got close. Like I was trying to like console myself. And then I was like, 2017 is going to be my six-figure year. And then it wasn't. And I was like, okay, fine. 2018 is going to be my six-figure year. I just need to buy more courses and programs. And then it wasn't. And then it was like, I finally, like in the middle of that year, was just like, screw it all. Like, whatever. I was just like, if it happens, if it doesn't happen, like, I just really don't care. Like, I want to do what I want to do. And that was when I started looking at, well, what do you enjoy, right? From the book I just read through. Like, well, I want to host retreats and I want to do in-person stuff. And I want to, like, this is what I enjoy. This is what I love doing. And I started doing that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let me go through some more of this. 2018. Right now, I'm at a point where revenue is way behind expenses. I'm in a growth phase. This is year 3. While I'm hiring team members, putting software in place, and getting the support I need from mentors, expenses are going to be high. However, I have everything I need in me. I have everything I need in this moment. I have a business that generates revenue. I know I will be and am successful. I know the revenue will pick up and expenses will stabilize. Right now, all it would take is 30,000 to wipe out all business debt and 55,000 to wipe out all student loan debt. I chose this. I knew it wouldn't be fast and easy. I realized it would be a challenge. I keep my energy and vibe high and attract perfect fit clients. Okay. And then here's the turning point. Okay. I decided to release a program that had nothing to do with marketing. Like, I had really had it in me that I wanted to do something that was about basically like allowing in the good stuff that already has your name on it, because that was a program I needed at that point. And that was the message that not only I needed for myself, but I also needed to speak. And we had this conversation a couple days ago inside of our group, which is often the message that you're here to deliver is the message that you need for yourself. And one of the best ways to coach yourself is to coach others through that process. I know it might sound a little crazy, but you might realize that you're like, well, I want to teach people this, but I feel like I'm still not quite there. It's like, well, the way you get there is actually by going through that process of developing it yourself, teaching it yourself, coaching it, not from a standpoint of here's exactly how you do it, but from the standpoint of this is the message that I'm hearing for myself. This is what I need to do. This is what I know from my perspective of what I've already learned, right? And as you're going through that, you'll be very surprised at how you suddenly start coaching yourself through these things. So I decided to create a program that had nothing to do with marketing. It was called Open to Receive. And it was all about just allowing in all the good things that already have your name on it. And it was a 14-day challenge. I remember someone who purchased that, who had never bought anything else from me before. And she was like, I love this program. This is exactly what I needed. And honestly, like, I needed it too. I needed to flesh out and lay out all the things that I had done in the past where things seemed to come easy, so that I could figure out my blueprint and then imprint it on my business. Even though I didn't realize that that's how I was going to use it, but I just knew that that's what I need to release at that point. So then from there, I wrote out my dream bio in here. And then, I was like, here's what I want to really do. If I were really focused, like, what would make it work? All these things. What makes me attractive to money, vibrancy, slightly ignoring it. So I started to like write out my manifestation process. No feeling of desperation, demonstrating how I'm good either way, feeling safe, loved, cared for, positioning, royal nature. I'm deserving of money. Money is my birthright, protecting it, investing it wisely, tracking it. Notice that that's what I started doing, giving from a place of abundance. So et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This, I feel like I need to reread through this one, because I just kept going back and forth through like, things are rough. Like, oh, I'm awesome. I'm on top of the world. And then I was like, man, things are rough. I'm like, and then I ended up hosting a training. I was like, I'm just going to do whatever I want. So what do you guys want to learn? And so I ended up getting some good feedback, and people were like, this is what I want to learn. I want to learn how to, create a coaching program and fill a coaching program. And I was like, okay, cool. And when I hosted that program, I did it from a different perspective. I didn't do it from the perspective of like, this is what you should do. I did it from the perspective of, this is what I've done, and this is what I've learned to be true for me. And this is how I structured it. This is what I did. The rule is there are no rules. You can take it or leave it. You can do it how you want. And it was just it felt so free. And that program went on in 2020. Opened in 2019 the first time. That program went on in 2020 to be like one of the top revenue generators. And I learned my own blueprint. So I guess the moral of this whole thing and the summary statement is that you have a blueprint inside of you for what will cause you to get to six figures, right? And the more you try to follow funnel hack and like mimic or copy paste somebody else's whatever, all you're going to be doing is taking a detour and slowing yourself down, honestly. And until you admit and realize like how you want to show up, what you want to provide, how you want to interact with people. And until you go down that path and that process, unfortunately, you're still going to continue to struggle. As long as you stay in information gathering mode instead of information implementation mode, you're going to continue to spin around in circles. And like, that's not what we want to do, right? We want to finally get clear and clarity. And I remember someone once said that getting to six figures is like the hardest. And then from there, it's just doing more of what you did, you know? And I truly believe that, because 2019 was the six-figure year. The next year it was 250K, where I literally like made six figures in the first 6 months of the year. And I was like, okay, it took me 5 years to get here, or however long it was, right? It took me so many years to get here. And all of a sudden in 6 months, I did it again. And then last year, which was 2021, I did multiple six figures. So I did 314, 314 last year. So it's like that, like once you figure out your process, your blueprint, it's just a matter of doing those things, taking those steps. And like I said, the level one is the practical. So that's like ideal client messaging, like all the stuff that we teach in Path to Six Figures, you know, tracking your numbers, stuff like that, having a goal, right? But then you got to really start figuring out, like, am I actually applying this stuff, right? That's level two. Am I being honest about what I want and what I desire? Or am I following someone because I want what they have, but I haven't admitted to myself that that's not like the way that they have it and how they do it is not what I want to do, right? I remember it was someone I was following and I was like, wow, I really like their revenue. They do sales calls. I don't want to do sales calls. I'm going to do sales calls. So it's like, you know, you gotta, like, you keep going back and forth, and that's what's causing this wheel spinning. Spinning your wheels is literally like one wheel is going forward and the other one is going backwards. Try doing that, right? That's what spinning your wheels is. And so you never actually go anywhere. You just keep turning, right? And then the final level below that, which I feel like is the most important, is stepping into that energy. I call it assuming the throne. So stepping into that before you're even there, before you see it in the physical. It's like, let's step into that right now. Let's write it out. Let's journal it, vision it, whatever it is that you need to do. I think there was one more thing that I wanted to show. Okay, so like email, I did want to show like email lists and email sends. I've been on ConvertKit for the longest time, and it's crazy. I've been using Assume the Throne since 2018. But I started emailing more often. So you notice this was like January 1st, January 2nd, okay, January 3rd, January 6th, January 7th. So that's a little bit more practical. Between here and here, I think I switched email services to try something new. And then I was back to ConvertKit, which is kind of a consistent story. And then like my YouTube videos, also I started publishing more often. So this is 2018. Here we go. 2019, we go once a week, right? 1st, 8th, 14th, 17th, 19th, 27. So I just got more consistent with everything. Okay. More consistent with that belief in myself and with that tracking. Okay. Courtney says, I've seen Tish do all of this. You have been there for the entire process. Yes. If you would like the journal, you're going to go to LaTishaStyles.com. And then there's a button at the top that says order journal. That's like the easiest way to go get it. Janice says, I need to go over my journals and then have new daily steps. I know I have to build confidence in my topic and plan it out. Absolutely. I'm going through my email. Thank you for sharing this in your transparency. You're welcome. Purpose plus passion equals profits. New t-shirt design. It's good. All right. What if I don't want to do one-on-one coaching? What are other options? Great question. I actually no longer do one-on-one coaching because that's not something I desire. Like, I don't see that in my vision for long-term, which I'm actually going to be recording a video today, kind of explaining that and doing a little story time. If you don't want to do one-on-one coaching, there are other options. You can do group coaching. You can sell all digital courses and products and like not include any, face-to-face coaching at all. Like you don't have to coach. There's other business models. You can sell products, right? You don't have to necessarily sell services. You can package up your programs or what would have been a coaching program into a physical thing that someone can buy or a digital thing, like whatever it is. Some people don't like doing live streams. You don't have to do live streams. Like there's nothing that you have to do. What you do need to figure out is what is your blueprint and your process. And sometimes that takes a little bit of trial and error. But that's part of the journey. Okay. LB says, I absolutely love your approach to building the business and lifestyle that we want. It's our unique path to six figures. Absolutely. And beyond that, you help us define so clearly. You're the best, Tish. Thank you, LB. All right. This is very inspirational. You're very welcome. We got more people not wanting one-on-one. Yeah. Which is so odd. Like, it's one of those things. Okay. Good. All right. Was going to do short courses in a membership group. Yep. You can do that. It all works. Everything works. Just depends on what you want to show up for. So I hope this was helpful. I planned this out because I wanted to do like a little bit of a story time because we've got the story cell challenge that's coming up, which you can join. I'll tell you a little bit more about it in just a second. But also what I really wanted to do was I wanted to give you like a full behind the scenes. I did a video before on like, how I got to 65K my very first year. And then I think I've done one like how I made six figures or whatever. But I really wanted to give you like the practical and what's below. I feel like a lot of people do like, here's how I made to six figures. But the only reason that they do that is because they're trying to sell you a program. And I'm like, and every time in the comments, I see people like, well, what did you do? Like, what did you sell? What did you do? And so here's the answer. I sold courses. I sold coaching. I worked on my mindset. I learned how to actually become a good marketer and send emails, right? I learned the practical, but I also recoded. Like I spent a lot of time recoding what was most important, which is in the internal game and mindset. And now when I know I want to go to another level and when I'm ready to like, okay, let's do this next thing, I know exactly what I need to do because I have my own blueprint. Okay. One thing that I do want to invite you guys to is I'm going to be hosting a 5-day challenge. It's called the Stories Sell Challenge. You can go to latisha.tv/stories in order to get enrolled. And hang on, don't go there yet because I think I have a coupon code that might need to be implanted in there. Yeah, I need to put it. Give me 1 second. So the Story Sell Challenge is all about helping you to take your stories, things that you've been through, things that you have experienced, and learn how to use those in order to make sales. Very simple, very straightforward. So if you're ever, like, oh, I'm writing an email or I want to write an email, but I don't know what to say, right? I just want like, just come and buy it, right? Just click the button and buy. Well, you kind of have to do a little bit of something before that. And that's telling a story and telling the right story. So when you join us for the Stories Sell Challenge, first thing that you're going to get is you're going to get to read this really cool story of what happened when I hung out with my nephew, which is awesome. Okay. This is what we're going to be doing during this 5-day challenge. I'm hosting it live August 20th through 25th. Okay. Day 1, once upon a time. Okay. We'll talk about how to set the premise for every story to capture only the people who are most likely to buy and or become raving fans. Day 2, down the rabbit hole. You'll learn the languaging methods used by Google, Amazon, social media tech giants to keep users enthralled. Now you'll be able to use the same methods to keep your ideal client hanging on to your every word. Day 3, you can't sit with us. Why most stories flop and how to add dimension to yours so you can effortlessly transition your story to triumph. Day 4, it is time. What Mufasa learned about himself and why your story must teach to be compelling. And then day 5, and they live happily ever after, making the smooth transition over to your sales pitch and when you should skip one altogether. So this challenge is not just like a feel good. I want to make sure you have a deliverable at the end. So if you complete each of the challenge tasks, you'll have a polished story that you can use for a sales page, live stream, or email. And you'll understand the framework behind a good story so you can use it over and over and over again. Okay. So that's really the goal here. Each piece you're going to get one day. So what I am starting to do is really step into what I truly desire to do, which is to create and host workshops where we do a project, and then at the end of it, you've got this brand new baby thing, right? So this is part of that, and my goal is to help you once again to craft a story. By the end of it, by the end of the 5 days, you have a story. But then also I'll be teaching the actual framework and the strategy and idea behind it. Okay. I will be hosting it live, but everything is going to be recorded. It'll all get stored into a member area. It's yours to keep for life. And you can go to latisha.tv/stories. I did update the link. There's a special coupon code on there. That coupon code does expire in a couple of days. And I actually don't know what day it expires. I think I have it set to expire today, to be honest. Let me double check. Because I knew I was going to do it. Yep, it's today. So the coupon code expires today. But I'll leave it open through like tonight. I think today is like GMT time, maybe. So it might be until tomorrow afternoon. Regardless, if you'd like to use the coupon code, that coupon code will be available. If you go to latisha.tv/stories and the coupon code is gone, well, then that means that it's expired. However, I still love to have you in there. I think it's going to be super, super valuable for you to be able to tell your story. If you have other questions, please let me know. I hope this training was helpful for you today. And if there's anything that you would like to ask, I'm an open book. As you can see, I literally just opened my QuickBooks and all of my other books as well. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, I should memorize this, but clearly I don't have it memorized. If you enjoyed this and you want even more, go to my YouTube channel at LaTisha Styles. While you're there, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications. If you didn't know, the best conversations actually happen inside of our private community. Go to latisha.tv/group to join. Until next time, remember that your dreams deserve your decision and you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. So go, dream, decide, do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.